Hello everyone and welcome to you all. Today we'll start with our next numerical on analysis of non-sway frame using stiffness matrix method. So here we'll be conducting this numerical, that is a frame ABCD given to you. Okay, the loading in this frame, that is UDL, is provided on your span AB, and in span BC and CD a point load is provided at the center. Okay, so we'll try to solve this by using stiffness matrix method over there, right? So for analysis purpose, whatever analysis we are doing, that is for beams, same analysis you have to perform for frames also, both in cases of non-sway frames and in cases of sway frames also. Just certain assumptions you have to do, or certain notes I have given you yesterday in last lecture, that is note number 1, 2, 3. That notes you have to implement in this. Okay, so we'll be solving this numerical using stiffness matrix method over there. So first step, that is what we'll be calculating the kinematic indeterminacy of your frame. The classification of this frame we'll see first. This frame will be a non-sway frame. Why? Because of the sway coefficient or the lateral loads reaction coming from HA and HD will be restricted by this horizontal reaction HC over there. So this frame will be classified as your non-sway frame. So it will be classified as your non-sway frame first. Okay, and then we'll do the analysis. So dk for this frame we'll see at joint A and D, those are your fixed support. So dk at that point will be 0. B will be treated as your rigid joint, and C, it is given to your simple support or hinge support over there. So here total dk will be equal to 2, and which will be those will be your first theta B and second will be equal to theta C. So both are the rotation. I assume as my first theta B as D1 and second theta C as D2. Means my first coordinate will be at point B and second coordinate will be at point C over there. So first I will mark these two coefficients over there. So first coefficient, that is at your point B. Okay, one rotation here, and second again two rotation at your point C respectively. So first is at your B and second is at your C point. Right, now we'll proceed to your second step, that is the basic equation of stiffness matrix method is what? That is F is equal to ADL plus S into D. F is equal to ADL plus S into D, where F is what? These are the corresponding forces given to you at your selected coordinate points order, that is at point 1 and 2. So we will see here for your first matrix, that is F matrix, two redundants we are having. So we will be having F1 and F2 value in this is equal to values of those. Now we'll see whether any corresponding forces are given to you along these two selected redundant points. Are there any moments given at point B and point C? That we'll see. Okay, in previous lecture I have told you that if rotation is there, you have to see corresponding moment is acting, and if displacement redundant is there, you have to see that your corresponding force is acting or not. But here both are the rotation, and at both points B and C your no moment is given. So here your F1 and F2 value both will remain again equal to 0. Okay, now second we have to calculate the ADL matrix over there. So ADL matrix, it is related to what? It is related with the applied loads given to. So we have to restrain this structure and we have to calculate the friction moments for this. So first what I'll do, I'll restrain this complete structure over there. Restraining means what? We'll fix all the joints. Okay, so here I'll separate my three members over here and I will restrain them. Okay, so this is my first member AB, this will be my second member BC, and this is my third member, that is BD over here. Okay, now along with this whatever loading is given to you, that I'll substitute over here. So this UDL, it is given to you of 40 kilonewton per meter. Span AB is 4 meter. Here you are having point load of 80 kilonewton at a distance 2 meter and 2 meter apart from B and C, and this is again your 20 kilonewton at a distance 2 meter apart from B and point D over there. Right, now you have to calculate the friction moments. So selected at your first coordinate, so whatever this first coordinate ADL1 value will be at point B, that will be your summation of friction moments of BA plus member BD plus member BC over there. So you have to calculate the ADL1 at this joint B over there, that will be for member BA, for member BC, and third will be for member BD. So I'll mark those over here. Restoring moment signs I'll put here. So restoring moment sign for this will be clockwise in nature, right? For this BC, that will be anti-clockwise in nature, and for BD, that will see along this joint B, this 20 kilonewton force will be introducing a anti-clockwise moment. Its restoring moment will be in clockwise nature over there. So this will be your ADL1, that is for your member BA. This is your ADL1, that is for member BC, and this third one, that is your again ADL1, but that is for member BD over there, right? And next for ADL2, that will be at your second coordinate. So for second coordinate only one member you are having, so we'll mark that also. So this will be restoring moment clockwise in nature, and that will be your ADL2, but that will be for member CB. So we'll calculate the friction moment calculations first. So friction moments here, right? So friction moment will be having MFAB, next MFBA, right? Next is your MFBC, MFCB, okay? Next is your MFBD, and last will be your MFDB here, right? So for first UDL is provided to you. So friction moment will be your minus WL square by 12 for AB and plus WL square by 12 for BA over there. So if you substitute the values, that is 40 into 4 square divided by 12, I am getting this as minus 53.33 and this as plus 53.33. Okay, in same way for BC and CB span, a point load is provided at the center over there. So friction moment value for that will be your minus WL by 8, and for CB that will be plus WL by 8. So substituting the value W equal to 80, length is your 4 divided by 8, I am getting this as minus 40, and this I am getting as plus 40 here. Okay, next for BD and DB portion, again a point load is provided over here. So that will be again WL by 8 and WL by 8. But what will happen now? Now if you see the restoring moment for BD, that is MFBD, that will be clockwise in nature, we have seen over here. So here your first moment, that is MFBD, will come positive, while as your MFDB will be coming here negative. After calculating W20, length is your 4, so after calculation I am getting this as plus 10 and this as minus 10 over here, and all these moments are in kilonewton meter. So these are my final friction moments what I am getting. Okay, so from this I will calculate first ADL1 value. So ADL1 will be your summation of all the friction moments coming at your joint B. So that will be your for MFBA plus MFBC plus MFBD. Okay, up to now only for 2 members we have seen. Here we are having 3 members at a particular joint. So here your 3 values will be seen over there. Okay, so we'll substitute the values. MFBA, that you are having 53.33 positive, MFBC you are having minus 40, and MFBD, that is your plus 10. So after calculating this, I have got ADL1 as 23.33 positive. Okay, so ADL1 I am getting as 23.33, and next is your ADL2 value. ADL2 value that will be for your or just for CB member that we have marked over here. Okay, so ADL2 will be your value of MFCB, and that is your equal to MFCB I am getting equal to plus 40. Okay, so these two values I have got ADL1 and ADL2. ADL1 I am getting as 23.33 and ADL2 I am having as plus 40. Okay, so this will be my second matrix, that is F matrix is done, ADL matrix is done. Now we'll move for your stiffness matrix, that is S, right? So your third part will be stiffness matrix, and that will be your S of 1 1, S 1 2, S 2 1 and S of 2 2 over here. Because why? You are having only 2 redundants in your numerical, so this matrix will be in 2 by 2 format. If you are having 3 redundants, then your matrix will be of 3 by 3 format. Right? So we'll start with this in Roman 1. Roman 1, what we do? We apply unit displacement at coordinate 1, keeping other coordinates fixed. That is, you have to apply the unit displacement at your first coordinate and you have to fix the second coordinate, that is joint C over there. So first coordinate is your D1, that you have marked as theta B. So here what you have to do is the theta B or D1 is equal to 1 you have to apply here. Okay, so cumulative diagram I will draw directly for this. Okay, so this is my joint A, which is already fixed one, right? This is my joint D, which is also already fixed one. C you have to fix over there. Why? Because you are applying unit displacement at joint B. Okay, so we'll mark your stiffness coefficients again. So stiffness coefficient at your first coordinate and stiffness coefficient at your second coordinate. This stiffness coefficient you have to assume initially always in a clockwise direction at only the selected coordinate points over there. Okay, so at first and second point I have marked this. So this will be S of. So this will be S of stiffness. You are calculating at your first coordinate, that is at point B, when unit displacement is applied at itself at point B. So that will come S of 1 1. Same way this will get of S of, you are calculating stiffness at point C, that is at second coordinate, when unit displacement is applied at your first coordinate. So you will get that as S of 2 1 over there. Now this S of 1 1, this will be for cumulative of BA, BD and BC members over there, but S of 2 1, that will be only for member CD. So likewise you have to calculate. Now we'll see the displacement patterns of this. Now if you see for this BA member, this will having clockwise S of 1 1 over there, so that will be originating from the upward side. Okay, so its displacement pattern for BA will be going on upward side over there, showing this D1 or theta B is equal to 1. Same way for BC, again you are having clockwise portion over here, right? S of 1 1, that is originating from downward side, so this will be going on the downward side, which will again show this D1 is equal to 1 there. And now for BD member, it is originating from the left hand side part, so this will be originating from the left hand side, which will again show that as D1 is equal to 1 there. So this will be your total stiffness matrix diagram. Okay, how you have to do this? Just you have to mark those clockwise rotations for each member BA, BC and BD, and this side from which this moment is originating, on that side your displacement pattern will be followed. Okay, so you have to mark those three points you are having, that is 3 members you are having meeting at point B. So here you will be having 3 displacement patterns there. Now we will see for the values of those, that is first value S of 1 1. Okay, so S11, that is your near joint for your displacement applied point over there, that is at corresponding to point B or corresponding to the applied unit displacement over there. B will be your near end over there. So for that S of 1 1 you will get equal to 4 EI theta B upon L, right? But that will be cumulative for BA, BC and BD. So here I will write first for BA plus again 4 EI theta B upon L, that will be for CB, plus 4 EI theta B upon L, that will be for BD over there. Okay, so these 3 members I am having BA, BC and BD. Okay, so if you substitute the value theta B is equal to 1 and length of each member BA, CB and CD, for BA length is your 4, so this will get as EI, right? Next for CB also your length is again 4, so this will get as 4 by 4 1 EI, and then length of BD is also 4, so 4 by 4 you will get equal to 1, so EI plus EI plus EI, this I will get equal to 3 times of EI over there, right? So that will be your value of S of 1 1. Next I'll calculate for S of 2 1 over there. Okay, so for S of 2 1 corresponding to your applied unit displacement, C joint will be your farther joint over there, but that is only for your one member. So S of 2 1 will be equal to 2 EI theta B upon L, but that will be for member CB. So length of your CB is 4, theta B is again 1, so 2 by 4, that will give you equal to 0.5 of EI. So I am getting these two coordinates over here, or stiffness coefficients over there, S of 1 1 and S of 2 1 from theta B is equal to 1 application. Okay, now we'll proceed to our second Roman. So in that what we'll do, we apply unit displacement at coordinate 2 keeping other coordinate fixed. Okay, that means you have to apply unit displacement at your second coordinate that we have taken for theta C. So what you have to do is you have to apply theta C, or d2 is equal to 1 here. Okay, so I'll draw the diagram for stiffness coefficients over here. So this is your joint A, which is already fixed. Joint D is also already fixed, and what you have to do is you have to fix joint B also here, and you have to free up the joint C. Okay, now next I'll mark my stiffness points over there. So this will be your first stiffness coefficient at first and second coordinate. Okay, so this will be S of stiffness you are calculating at your point C, that is at coordinate 2. When unit displacement you are going to apply at point C, that is S of 2 2, this will become S of stiffness coefficient you are calculating at point B, that is at 1 point. When unit displacement is applied at C, that is nothing but at coordinate 2, so it will become S of 1 2. Okay, now we will see about the displacement pattern for this. Along joint C, you are having a clockwise rotation of S of 2 2, so it is originating from upward side, so it will follow a upward path which will have this d2 is equal to 1 there. Okay, which will show this displacement pattern in the upward direction. Right, now we will calculate the values of these two, that is S of 1 2 and S of 2 2. S of 2 2 we'll see first. Corresponding to your unit displacement point, S of 2 2 will be your near end moment, so that will get as 4 EI theta C upon L. Okay, but that will be for member CB. Only one member you are having here, so that will become only 1 is equal to theta C is 1, length is your 4, so 4 by 4 I'll get this as 1 EI. Right, next we'll calculate for S of 1 2 value. So for S of 1 2 corresponding to your unit displacement, joint B is your farther joint over there. Okay, so at farther joint you will be having far end moment, but that will be only for one member BC. Why? Because for BA and for BD these are completely restrained for both, that is rotation also and for transverse displacement also. So that is why this will get only just 2 EI theta C upon L, and that will be only for member BC. Okay, so this will get as 2 into theta C is 1 divided by length is 4, so 2 by 4 I'll get this as 0.5 of EI. We'll check whether your S of 1 2 is coming equal to S of 2 1. S of 1 2 I am getting 0.5. S of 2 1 also I am getting equal to 0.5. Okay, it is correct over there. So your here S matrix is also done. Now D is your basic unknowns. So what we'll do, we'll substitute all the values in our matrix form. So first F matrix, both values I am having 0 is equal to, next is your ADL matrix. Okay, so for ADL matrix I am getting this as 23.33 and 40. Plus EI is common from all your S terms over there. So S of 1 1 I am getting as 3. Okay, S of 1 2 I am getting as 0.5, S of 2 1 again 0.5, and S of 2 2 I am having as 1 EI multiplied by D1 and D2 as your basic unknowns over there. So if I solve for the equations over there, what equation I will get first? Row multiplied by column, that is 3 times of D1 plus 0.5 times of D2 is equal to, this after going here will become negative and EI will get divided to that, so it will come minus 23.33 upon EI as your equation number 1. Same way I'll see for my second equation. So second row multiplied by column, that is 0.5 of D1 plus 1 times of D2 is equal to, this will go again negative, minus 40 upon EI. So that will be my equation number 2 here. Okay, so on solving this equation 1 and 2, I have got D1, that is nothing but your theta B, and D2, that is equal to theta C, as minus 1.21 divided by EI, and this as minus 39.39 divided by EI. So these are the two values which I have got here. Okay, so after getting these values, now next part is what, that you will be calculating your final moments over there. So next we'll be doing, that is for slope deflection equations. Okay, so in that first equation that we will be having for MAB, that is equal to your MFAB plus 2EI upon L into bracket, theta is 0 because of your fixed support. Just what will remain, theta B delta is also 0. Okay, so if I substitute MFAB, that I have got as minus 53.33. okay, and 2EI upon L into theta B value, that is minus 1.21. so I have got MAB is equal to minus 53.93 kilonewton meter. Okay, same way if I calculate MBA, that will be your MFBA, that is 53.33. okay, plus 2EI upon L, so that will become 0.5 of EI into bracket 2 times of theta B. I have got this as 52.12 kilonewton meter. Okay, next is your MBC. now that is you have to switch for next member. So MFBC, that I am getting minus 40 plus 2EI upon L, that I will get again 0.5 of EI into bracket theta B plus 2 times of theta C over there. Okay, so if you substitute values of theta B and theta C again, I have got MBC is equal to minus 60.90 kilonewton meter. Okay, next is your MCB value. So that will be again MFCB, that is plus 40 plus 2EI upon L, that is 0.5 EI I will get into bracket near end rotation, that will be your near end rotation here, that will be your theta B plus 2 times of theta C. Okay, sorry, here it will be 2 times of theta B and this will be theta C. Okay, so correct this, I have made a mistake over here. You correct this I'll get as 2 times of theta B plus theta C, because B will be your near end and C is the far end. Here reverse condition is there, C is your near end and B will be far end, so C will be multiplied by 2 and B will be multiplied by 1 over there. Okay, so if you substitute theta B and theta C again over here, I am getting this as 0. Okay, next is your MBD. In that MFBD, that I have got as plus 10, right, plus 10 I have got that, yes, plus 10 plus 2EI upon L, that is again I will get 2 by 4 as 0.5 EI into bracket 2 times of theta B plus theta D will be 0 because D is your fixed support over here. So if you substitute theta B here, I will get this as plus 8.79 kilonewton meter, and the last MDB, that will be your MFDB minus 10 plus 2EI upon L as 0.5 EI and into bracket theta B, so this I have got as minus 10.605 kilonewton meter. Okay, we'll see the conditions of equilibrium. So first condition of equilibrium will be what, that will be adjoint B, that is MBA plus BC plus BD shall be 0. MBA plus BC plus BD shall be equal to 0. So we'll check this. MBA I am getting as minus 52.12. okay, sorry, plus 52.12 plus MBC as minus 60.90 and MBD I am getting as plus 8.79 equal to. So if I solve this 52.12 plus this 8.79 almost to 60 I'll get, borobar 60 minus 60, that I'll get almost equal to 0. So your first condition is getting satisfied. Second condition of equilibrium will be at your second point, that is at C, that will be what, MCB shall come equal to 0. So there MCB shall come equal to 0. Already we are getting that equal to 0 here. So our both the conditions are getting satisfied properly. Now we'll try to draw the BMD by superposition here. Okay, here I'll draw so you can see the moments properly. Sorry, I am having this type of diagram. Okay, this is my A, B, C, and here I am having D over here. My frame has got wrong, you correct this. Okay, so at A you are having moment as minus 53.93. So as per your sign convention, this will be drawn on the upward side, that is 53.93. Next, at for BA I am getting that as 52.12. So again that will be positive, 52.12. Next, for BC, that I am getting as negative 60. So first we will join these by 2 straight lines over there. Next, for BC I am getting that as 60. So greater than this value, that is 60.90. Here I am getting that equal to 0. So we will join this by a straight line. Okay. Next, for BD I am having plus 8.79. So positive it will be on the outward side, 8.79, and here I am getting negative, that is 10.60. Again this will be joined by a straight line. Okay, now you have to plot the span moments on this. So span moment superimposing on this, span moments I'll calculate, that is for AB, BC and BD. Okay, so for AB that will be UDL WL square by 8, and for BC and BD central point load, so those will be WL by 4. So substituting the loads and its length, I have got this as 80, this I have got again 80, and here I am getting that as 20 kilonewton meter. Okay, so I'll plot this 80, that will follow parabolic path, so 80 will be greater than this 60 in this way. 80, that is your WL square by 8. Same way for BC also I am getting that as 80. Again maximum at the center, WL by 4, that is equal to 80. And the last for BD I am getting that equal to 20. So that will be also maximum at the center, WL by 4, that is equal to again 20. Okay, just what you have to do is you have to shade the superimposed part in this. So this gives me complete BMD by superposition. Your numerical ends here. Okay, so if you have seen the process of analysis, the same process you have to follow as that you were doing for the beams. Okay, same method. Here you have to not calculate any shear equilibrium equation in case of stiffness matrix method, that is in case of beams, non-sway frames and sway frames also. In sway frames also no need of calculation of shear equilibrium equation there. Okay, because those unknowns we directly get in terms of matrix form, and we get directly their values by solving the equations over there. So no need of doing shear equilibrium equations here. These numericals are very easy to solve and not as time consuming compared to your other three methods, that is slope deflection, moment distribution method, and also the flexibility matrix method over there. Okay, so if you are having any query in this, you can please comment me and like the video, and please share. Thank you so much.